ums and ahs and things, so don't
Yeah,
worry
that sounds
about
good because I am an ummer and an R. So.
that. Don't worry about that. Welcome, Hannah from Heyday. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
What a pleasure. I'm so excited for this conversation because, of course, I help people, well, I help small business owners DIY their own social media, but I know
Mhm.
that's not for everyone. Some people cannot think of anything worse and they need someone to help. So I'm so looking forward to hearing how you guys do that, what it's all about at the other end of things.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the kind of two sides of the coin, really, isn't it?
Yep, yep, absolutely. But first off, it'd be great to just know a bit more about you, about Heyday. Yeah, tell us about you guys.
Oh gosh, where to even begin? So, Heyday is a digital agency that I launched almost 3 years ago now. After coming off my second maternity leave with my son, it was something that was kind of noodling around in my head for many many years, but particularly during the pandemic. I promise that's
Hmm,
the only time I will mention the pandemic during this
don't
chat.
worry.
Um, but I used to kind of freelance and help different people sort of in my life who had businesses with their marketing, sort of giving marketing advice, helping them with their strategy and things. And it was that really kind of lit me up.
Mhm,
I kind of worked in house for a lot of different places. The last job that I had was very, very corporate. So it was very, very different sort of angle of marketing that I was coming at in that kind of sense. And then there was kind of the perfect storm of circumstances after coming off
mhm.
maternity leave, like I said, lack of flexibility, which is something I think a lot of parents and a lot of mums will relate to. And just kind of took the plunge and launched Heyday. So we basically do kind of three different things. Our main sort of bag, our main thing is sort of strategy, marketing strategy, making sure you can maximize the impact of all of the channels that you've got because there are so many and it can be so overwhelming for people to decide how to market their business.
Mhm.
So strategy is our main kind of thing. We also do a bit of copywriting, and of course, we do social media management as well, and help small businesses in that kind of way. So it is mainly small businesses and things that we work with.
Excellent. Wow. Yes, the perfect storm. I think that's the first time I've heard the pandemic being described like that, but in a lot of ways it was, wasn't it, for myself as well? I mean, it was a terrible time, obviously, and I know
Hmm.
people lost their lives. So I'm not playing it down at all, but I was
Hmm.
pregnant during it all, during lockdown, the
Yeah.
really
Cool.
first lockdowns. And like you say, it was like just the perfect storm of circumstances because I found out I was pregnant with twins and got
Hmm.
really pregnant really quick,
Yeah.
and so all my events cancelled at the time and whatever. So yeah, if it's going to happen any time, it
Yeah,
wasn't the
exactly.
worst
And I
time.
think it was
Bad
kind of
saying that.
yeah, perfect storm is totally the apt thing to say for it though, isn't it? Because it changed so many people's lives in so many different ways. I know it changed my life completely because I just think if the pandemic hadn't happened, I don't think I would be here today. I think I probably would have stayed at
Mhm,
an in-house role and very much felt in that kind of safer bubble. But actually, the bubble kind of burst because you just kind of see the way that different organizations were treating people and treating their
mhm,
staff in particular. And like I've said this before, but the way that people treated their marketing departments in particular was really telling
mhm.
of which ones were actually going to succeed and which ones were going to kind of fall by the wayside. So that was really
Really?
interesting for me as a marketer to see. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you saw the ones who had chosen to furlough their marketing departments really didn't have very much of a presence anymore. They kind of sunk into the background a little bit. They'd kind of prioritized different things as a lot of people had prioritized different departments and things like
Mhm,
that. But I think the ones who did prioritize keeping on their marketing department and keeping that presence and keeping that focus on nurturing their communities, building their communities during that time and sort of linking in with them, those are the ones
mhm,
that really kind of thrived at the end of it.
mhm. Gosh, yeah. So that was a real eye opener for you, I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned community there, which we're very big on over in
Hmm.
this camp, and I know that you are too, especially our small business community. They
Yeah.
are just an awesome bunch, aren't they? Absolutely. Um, so you noticed that during that sort of time in your life where in the employed roles, you've seen how agencies, bigger company were they were lacking that sense of community then when it came to dealing with all the outcome
Yeah.
of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And is that now something that you now really drive forward with in your own business? Are you quite passionate about community and in particular a small business community?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's sort of a reframing in the way that you think about marketing your business when you sort of put the community at the heart of everything that you do. I mean, when
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of thinking about, from, brainstorming content ideas and things like that, it could be really easy to look at your competitors and think, well, actually, they're doing this, so maybe I should be doing this, or looking at the latest trend and sort of hopping on that and just trying to grow that way, which is something that historically people did do. Everyone kind of followed the trends and followed the same kind of patterns. But then you get this really odd situation where you're scrolling on social media and everything is the same. Whereas when you see something that is speaking directly to you, that links in with your beliefs, your values, sort of the problems that you're maybe facing in life, the challenges that you might be kind of facing, it really stands out when you see a piece of content that is crafted in that way. So that's why we always tell people we're an audience first marketing agency. We're placing the audience and the community at the heart of absolutely everything that we do. We're sort of not looking very much at competitors and what other people are doing. We're definitely trying to carve out a niche and carve out a community that is just for ourselves and just for our clients. And I think that's kind of the direction that marketing is heading in anyway. And I think it just makes it a bit more of a sort of less boring and a more inclusive place as well.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. Love it. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. Social media. It's quite the place, isn't it?
I know. I think I've always said this as well. Social media is what you make it. So I get a lot of people when I'm speaking at networking events or I'm even speaking to new clients, and they always say the same thing, like, oh, I hate social media. It's so horrible. Such a negative place. Like, I don't want to do it. So that's why, like, I'm here. I want you to do it. And I always think that social media kind of is what you make it. There are so many vibrant communities and so many niches that you could get involved in, and it's a really exciting place to be, actually. So it really is what you make it. It's all about tailoring your feed and tailoring the kind of content that you want to see, and, you know, interacting with kind of the right thing. So I actually, like, I love opening my Instagram in the morning and like seeing what everyone's been up to and seeing what, you know, what all my favorite small businesses are doing. And it just feels like a really nice, vibrant place to be. Whereas I feel like if you are only interacting with things that are negative or really doom and gloom, that's all you're probably going to see. And yeah, it's going to feel like a really negative space.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, I could not have put it better myself, Hannah. Yep, absolutely. That's how I feel about it as well. And I've been using it for so long, particularly Instagram. I really find it to be a community in itself. But that's probably, like you said, because I've curated my feed to be like that. I see things that I want to see. I'm not following anyone's journey that I don't want to see. Why would you? And I'm putting messaging out there, posts out there that are speaking to the people that I want to speak to. So I'm attracting those people. So that's good. But yeah, more often than not, I do hear exactly what you said there. Hate it. I don't know what. A lot of the time it's because they'll say, I don't know what I'm doing on it. I'm spending a lot of time creating posts and nothing's coming back, you know. So there's no strategy behind it, I think, is half the problem most of the time. And it can lead to a lot of small business owners just being completely overwhelmed with it and going through this stage of posting, stop. And then they disappear for like weeks or maybe months, because the longer you're away, the harder it is to get back into it. And that can be what leads to the overwhelmed feeling, isn't it? And that whole burnt out from it feeling, just confusion.
Absolutely. It's that vicious circle of, you know, oh, well, I'm doing all these things, I'm spending all this time, I'm not getting any results, I'm not getting any sort of clicks on my website, sales through, I'm not getting any inquiries, and I'm so done with it. And then you put it down and then go away, and then it just sort of dies a death. And then trying to get it back up again is it does feel like the hardest thing in the world. But what I would say is, if you are constantly creating content, putting content out there, you're not seeing results, then it is time to sort of look at a strategy and look at the way that you're coming at things. Because if you're spending all of your time, all of your energy and all of your focus on creating that content and it's just not resonating, then you're not targeting the right people, or
that's not a normal experience.
Exactly. There's definitely a disconnect there.
Absolutely. And I think as business owners, what we need to remember here is we're using social media for marketing, to market our business. It's free, like it's an amazing place to be. Sure, you can pay for ads and things, but you don't have to. You can still reach the right people and not pay a penny. And with the right strategy in place, where you're actually planning and posting with purpose, it doesn't have to take all that time. It can actually be quite a quick and enjoyable and profitable process. So if we're speaking to the business owner out there who's listening, who is feeling like that and feeling like we've just described there, I'm always posting on social media, I'm not getting anywhere, and I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing with it. Like, but how does that business owner know if they need some support to sort of do it themselves, or if it's time to hand it over to someone else? That's the thing I hear from business owners where they're not sure as to whether am I capable of this, or do I just need to outsource this?
I would say that if you're in that situation where you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, you're feeling really burnt out with it, you feel like you're doing nothing but creating content, have a look at your analytics. Take a look at what has been resonating, what has reached the right people, what people have engaged with and interacted with, and maybe lean into that a little bit more. Give that a try. Lean into
Hmm.
that type of content. Maybe it's where you showed a bit of a behind the scenes of the business. Maybe lean into that a little bit more. If it's something that you're sort of doing in your day to day, that's the type of thing that people maybe want to see a bit more of. So try and maybe incorporate that a bit more and a bit less of the stuff that isn't resonating. But if you feel like you've absolutely done all of that, you've been through the ringer with your content and you just can't even look at it anymore, which is what we hear a lot of people saying as well, then yeah, it might be time to sort of bring in some expert help. And maybe the first step is devising that strategy. That's certainly the first step that we always take with clients. Is if someone's coming to us for social media management, we completely go in, look at all of their analytics, look at what has been performing, what hasn't been. We devise a strategy for them, and that's where it all starts. I really do think that that's the first step when you're working with any kind of marketing agency or social media manager, is an understanding of everything that has come before. Because that also helps you get to grip with their brand voice, which is a completely unique part of your business. And
Hmm.
it can't be replicated. We hear a lot about people copying other people's content and like trends are all the same and things like that, but actually it's your brand voice that's completely unique. So
Hmm.
it can never be copied or replicated.
Absolutely. There's lots of people out there doing what we're all doing, but it's no one's you. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the real
exactly.
important thing to get you. You think you're in a saturated market, but you're not, because no one is doing exactly what you do. It's not possible. So yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely would agree to lean into that.
Hmm.
And so you were saying looking at strategy first.
Hmm.
If someone is looking to get some support or outsource,
Hmm.
there's so many options out there, isn't there? Like
Yeah,
so many, even both of us are offering at some things of support for social media
yeah.
for small business owners. So where does the business owner even begin to look for someone to help? What do you think they should be particularly be looking for in a social media agency or manager?
So I think there's kind of three parts to what you should be looking for in terms of social media support. There's obviously the sort of the technical and the expertise side of things. So does the agency and do the people have the relevant experience and the expertise behind what they're kind of selling? The
Mm-hmm.
next is kind of results and testimonials. So obviously it's always most of our sort of inquiries and things come through existing clients and word of mouth. Those
Mm-hmm.
are the best kind of clients that come through us.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at their results, looking at their testimonials and the things that they're sharing online, that would be a great place as well. And the third one that I
Mm-hmm.
think is really underrated are their kind of soft skills, so their communication skills, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously when you're bringing in either an agency or a social media manager, you want them to sort of be a representation of your team and your brand, and it's
Mm-hmm.
such a personable thing. And I think, you know, fit in that way is so underrated when it comes to a social media manager and a marketing agency that's going to come in sort of from
Mm-hmm.
externally and be a part of your team. Values and things are obviously something that we consider quite a lot as well. We like to have sort of a
Mm-hmm.
really strong fit between our team and their team as well. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
completely underrated and something that not many people will kind of consider, but it's something that we've built all of our strongest client relationships on.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fit and the values side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, because you're not it becomes a working relationship, doesn't it? If you have someone
Absolutely.
helping with your social media,
Hmm.
it's not you just say, okay, here's my logins, cheerio.
Yeah.
Like you have to communicate, you have to talk to each other regularly, you have to check in, make
Hmm.
sure this is all working for everybody. Yeah, so it's important. Absolutely, I would say it's probably as underrated that you have to, vibe with the person. You have to know that you want to communicate with this person regularly.
Yeah, that's the word that we often use as well. But I didn't think, the vibe was the right answer to say because it's so
There are
vague,
no
but
wrong answers on Growth Addicts, Hannah.
exactly,
We
it's so
are all about
like
the vibes.
it's so sort of like kind of holistic and a bit airy fairy, but it's
I
completely
love that.
true. I
Listen,
feel
see
like
where the woo-woo meets the work. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. I feel like that kind of sums up our kind of approach to
Yes.
client relationships, definitely.
I mean, if you look close enough, you'll see my vision boards on the
Oh.
on the background here. So we're fine with a bit of woo-woo here. Don't
Mhm,
worry about that.
mhm.
But yeah, you've got to vibe with the person you're going to be working with like this. And I guess that comes back to us putting our business out there as well. Anyone putting their business out there, and I talk a lot about knowing who you're trying to attract, knowing your ideal client, your target audience, because you're wanting to also attract people that you want to work with. So it's no different
Absolutely.
when you're looking for someone to work with. Make sure
Definitely.
you've got to know them a little bit.
This might be totally off topic, but back when I was very first launching Haiti and I was developing our very first branding, I'd created sort of the hashtag logo that we have, and we very much lean into the kind of pinks and things. And someone had said to me, a man had said to me, "Oh, your branding's very pink. Do you not think that's going to put off some men from working with you?" And I was like, not really my primary concern, if I'm completely
Yeah.
honest. I was like, if a man would like to work with us and they want to sort of use our expertise and our strategic thinking, then I don't think they're going to be put off by a bit of pink. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I've got a bit of pink in my branding as well, and I did wonder if it was sort of feminine colours, but I have men working with me, and if they're
yeah,
fine with pink, then
yeah,
then we're,
exactly. And we've
we're
worked
all good.
across so many different industries and worked with so many different people that I really don't think the pink is a big
No,
deal with putting
I love
people
your
off.
pink. Love your pink. Um, in fact, I can't actually believe I've not asked you this yet.
Hmm.
Heyday, cool name.
Love our
What does that mean?
So, heyday basically means to live in the time of your greatest prosperity or to thrive. And that
Wow.
is kind of like the whole vision and ethos behind Heyday. And that's kind of what we want to help small businesses and small business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives achieve, living their heyday, whatever that means for them. And it could mean, we're taking things off of their plate so that they're able to go and work on their kind of bigger dreams and their bigger goals, sort of like in terms of the
Oh,
business, or freeing up the time and flexibility to do more of the things that they love to do in their personal life. So it means to live in the time of your greatest prosperity, which is what we're helping our clients do
wow.
every day.
That is absolute awesome. I love that. And it's not a Scottish phrase, is it? Is it a worldwide phrase, heyday?
Yeah,
You're in your
I think
heyday.
it is. Yeah, I
Yeah?
think it is worldwide. I didn't actually look up the origin of the word when I picked it, but I'd actually heard it. I'd heard it. I can't remember where I heard it. It was somewhere. I was on maternity leave, and I remember thinking, "Heyday, that's a really cool name, and that would be a really
Mm-hmm.
cool name for a brand." And I was like, just squirreling that away for the future.
Yeah. Oh, you've absolutely nailed it. It's a brilliant name, and it fits your branding and everything. Just all works so
Oh, thank
perfectly. I
you.
love it.
Yeah, we
I love
love it.
it.
When we went through our rebrand, I was like, "That's not changing."
No, good for you. It's really, really cool. And I guess actually the name, living in that your greatest time of prosperity, means is much more than just managing your social media. We know social media is an incredible
Mhm.
platform for marketing our business, but you like to help clients see the sort of deeper impact of their work beyond that, don't you? Could you talk to us a bit about that?
Absolutely. So my background before Haiti and before my last kind of corporate job was in the third sector. So a lot of the time we spoke about, the impact of the work and sort of getting to the deeper meaning and things like that. And
Mm.
it's sort of like a skill that I've kind of developed and really held on to. So, for example, if you're an interior designer, for example, you might think, well, for my content, I do like before and afters of people's homes, and that's all I'll need to do. I just need to show, the social proof of my work, and then that's it. But actually, the deeper meaning there, it could be that that client had they'd lived through like a really tough time in their home. They really needed a refresh. It's sort of like the sort of mental, physical, emotional
Mm-hmm.
impact that space transformation has had on the client. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
about making a space look aesthetically pretty or aesthetically good. It's about
Mm-hmm.
changing their lives. It's about completely, going in
Mm-hmm.
and sort of elevating their lifestyle, changing the way that they interact with their space, changing the way that they feel day to day in their space. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, we've done that quite a lot for a lot of different clients. You know, we've worked with professional organizers, we've worked in kind of agriculture, we worked in tech, we've worked with
Mhm.
artists and designers and clothing designers and things like that. So it's seeing the sort of deeper impact. So thinking about the clothing designer that we worked with, so she designed children's clothing, and it's about so much more than just designing a really nice, you know, top or a nice pair of
Mhm.
leggings for children or something that's a bit funky. It's about the clothing that they're going to be making memories in. It's about the clothing that's for a special birthday party or, you
Mhm.
know, a special sort of baby shower or a celebration or something like that. So it's thinking about the deeper impact of the work that you're doing and what you're giving back
Mhm.
when you're creating this product or this service and what you're actually delivering versus, you know,
Wow.
the kind of surface level.
Wow, that really is, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, that must really change a lot of your clients' perspective on how they see their marketing, how they view their marketing as a whole.
Definitely. And I think that thinking about it in a sort of deeper way and really putting yourself in the client's shoes and putting yourself in your audience's shoes, it really sort of
Mhm.
reinvigorates your passion for what you do. And you kind of go,
Mhm.
actually, what I'm doing does hold a lot of meaning and it does have a
Mhm.
profound impact on people's lives. And it's not sort of,
Mhm.
you know, frivolous or a waste of time or, you know, something that
Absolutely.
people aren't going to invest money in because it's so worthwhile.
God, I love that. You're really getting me in the feels today,
Oh,
Hannah. We're
I'm
like
sorry. I didn't mean to make it an
you're
emotional
like
morning.
well, your name, the business name and the meaning of that, and just what you're explaining there, like it's a big deal, isn't it?
It's
Like you're
so
that
deep.
interior designer can really take someone, be talking in marketing about this transformation from A to B, which is your ideal client's at A, you want to take them to B, but if someone's really unhappy in their home for whatever reason that might be, you can make a massive impact there. You're not just offering a design service to like
Mhm.
freshen up the living room. You're really impacting someone's life in a big way.
Yeah, exactly. It all
It's
comes down to
massive.
the way that they're living their life. And, you know, there's a
Mhm.
lot when we talk a lot about, you know, what people are willing to kind of, you know, spend their money on and things like that. And
Mhm.
when it comes to sort of the more luxury services and things like, you know, interior designer, professional organizers, it's making it a bit more
Mhm.
accessible and showing that actually it's a service that people can
Mhm.
afford and that people are more willing to sort of invest money in as well.
Yeah. Gosh, absolutely, absolutely. Right, so as part of that,
Hmm.
that means then we're not just throwing pictures out there of our work and hoping that will put it out there and they will come. Then you build it
Hmm.
and they will come. We know that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It has to be more than that. It has to be a bit deeper than that.
Hmm.
And I talk about a strategy where we put out on social media content to attract new clients, nurture our existing community,
Hmm.
and convert to booking or buying or signing up or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
So would you agree with that? There has to be a sort of a mix of content there to
Yeah,
do all these different things.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because you never know who's going to be landing on your page and who's going to be landing on your page for the first time. So if you
Yeah.
do only have sort of nurture content out there, then it's given no frame of reference as to who you are, what you do, or like the
Hmm.
impact of your work. So I think
Hmm.
it's important to have those kind of three pillars sort of going at the same time.
Yeah. And with attraction content and the content in particular, we can have a bit of fun. And I know you guys, because it's not just you at Haiti, is it?
No, it's myself and Serena, and we've recently just taken
Yeah.
on a paid ad specialist as well. So there's three of us
Amazing.
now.
Amazing. And I know you guys do the occasional fun reel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, we do. We like to lean into the fun, lean into the cringe.
Same, yep, yep, and the cringe. This is the thing. So, a lot of business owners are, they tell me that they cannot, the fear of showing up in camera is just far too much. Like,
Hmm.
it just feels so false and so fake. They wanted to start their business to bake cakes. They were never intending on like having to film themselves. And I totally get that, it's daunting, but it can actually be quite fun and a really good way to help your clients get to know you, which, helps with all the things we've just spoken about there,
Yeah.
attracting the right clients. Um, so, I mean, how do we help our business owner friends get over the cringe?
Well,
You
sometimes I just like to force them. I'm kidding. There's no
just like to
force.
run in with a camera in their face.
Yeah, just get all the good blooper content out the way, nice and up front. No, I think the sort of best thing to do is show them just how accessible it is. So a lot of the time, what we'll do is if clients don't enjoy filming reels or filming TikTok videos or whatever it is, we sort of show them examples of how it could look so that it doesn't feel as cringe. So that's looking at the kind of
Mm-hmm.
B-roll behind the scenes content, sort of filming them
Yes.
while they're not looking, that kind of thing, and then showing them the impact of just what that can do on their socials, because obviously
Mm-hmm.
reels are always being pushed out to new people, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
one of the kind of main ways that new people are finding you. So we always think it's really valuable to have them in a client's strategy when it comes to social.
Mm-hmm.
So we show them that kind of B-roll content. We encourage them to sort of spend a bit of time on the app and have a look through reels that are kind of in their niche so that they can see just
Mm-hmm.
how other people are approaching it, and it maybe doesn't feel as scary then.
Yep.
We have gently nudged a lot of our clients slightly outside of their comfort zone when it comes to creating reels. But something that we also like to do is, if they are capturing real content, a lot of the time they're sort of like, oh no, I don't want you with me when like I'm capturing the real content, because they're
Yeah.
it's just a bit too much for them. So we'll provide them with like a little plan, sort of like clip one, we'd love if you could capture this, clip two, clip three. And we've got some really cool things back from clients actually, where we've been
Mm-hmm.
able to edit them together and create a really good piece of content that, you know, they can then see the value and the impact of it. And
Yep.
they're like, oh, well, we should do that again. And they get really enthusiastic about
Yep.
it. So it's kind of baby steps into real territory. But it's funny
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, you know, filming and reels and things, because, you know, it's kind of just like a staple of our content now. It's kind of what we do.
Yep.
We love having fun with it. Like I'm still
Yep.
recovering from like the last time when, you know that, oh, were you waiting for that box to hit me? Still have a bit, still feel like I have a bump from that, but I'm gonna get my own back. But thinking about reels and things, I had never filmed a video piece of content until the pandemic. This is the second time I've mentioned the damn pandemic. I'm
Don't
sorry.
worry, it's inevitable, isn't it?
But
It's
it's like,
inevitable.
it's funny because that's the first time I ever created video content, because we needed to
Mm-hmm.
create content that was sort of accessible, that people could see, like, you know, we were
Yep.
talking face to face and given that kind of like, connection.
Am I right in thinking, Hannah? Am I right in thinking that Instagram TV launched round about that time?
Do you know what? Yeah, maybe it did. Yeah, I think
Because
it
I remember
probably did.
still being on forestry at that time, and I think it was just early days of my pregnancy,
Mhm.
and still doing my social media research and thinking I'm going to have to get on board whatever this IGTV is,
Yeah,
and trying to
oh
film something. And I'm sure that was kind of the first
gosh,
time.
that feels like a blast from the past hearing that
I
now.
know. Yeah.
Like it seems surreal, but yeah, sort of like everyone was dabbling in kind of TikTok, and everyone was finding sort of like new trends and things to follow, and it was a real kind
Hmm.
of a moment of connection across the digital world,
Yeah.
which was really nice, and also like helped me learn the ropes with TikTok, which I am also never off, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time I'd ever filmed video content and kind of pushed myself out my comfort zone in that way, because we had so much to do in terms of, you know, fundraising online and things like that then as well. You know, with the we used to host like virtual quizzes and things like that, which were really
Hmm.
popular, and sort of being on camera for that. So it's kind of like it was kind of trial by fire for me. So I like to kind of gently nudge clients out of their comfort zone rather than saying you will film this video or things will not go well.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you can start really baby steps by like filming your hands as you're packing an order or
Mhm.
making things, can't you? Or even just
Mhm.
typing at your desk, and then perhaps slowly move up the body to we see the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah,
We can definitely
exactly.
start at hands.
Yeah, that kind of, yeah, it is just baby steps though, isn't it? When someone's
Yeah,
really not comfortable or used to being on camera, particularly when it's easy for us to say because it's obviously a part of our job, but you
yeah,
know, it's kind of coming from a place of understanding that okay,
yeah.
not everybody does this for a living.
Oh, too. I totally get it. I totally get it. But yeah, if you are willing to nudge yourself out your comfort area and just try it, you
Mhm.
probably will enjoy it, and
Mhm.
you'll enjoy the impact that it has in your social media.
Yeah.
And then before you know, it just becomes second nature. You're showing up in your jammies, just grabbing your phone, like, morning, your
Yeah.
jammies.
Yeah,
Here's like a bird
exactly.
nest. Or is that just me? Because that is a regular thing for me.
Well, it is
If I'm
both
waiting for the
relatable.
perfect moment, it would never come. There is no perfect moment for me with young kids and whatever. I'd imagine you're the same.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. What is that? What's that phrase again? Is it even a phrase? Is it a known phrase? It's like post before perfection or something. Like
Well, it should be
don't,
if it's
yeah.
not.
I was gonna say you can't strive for kind of perfection when it comes to,
Oh gosh,
otherwise
no.
you'll never post anything.
No, you never do anything, wouldn't you know? There is no perfect time. The perfect
Yeah,
time is when you want to do it. Just do it.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And so I think what we've really touched on there is that social media is so much more. It can be so much more than just posting and praying,
Yeah.
putting images of your work out there and just hoping that that means someone's going to buy. It really is about building a community, getting yourself out there, helping people, especially if you're only online, helping people get to know you. But I think even now with brick and mortar stores, there's been a few stores that popped up on my Facebook and Instagram, and I'll definitely have a wee nosy. And from what I see on social media, could make me excited to go and visit, you know, so that this is not just exclusive to online businesses, but I think if your business is only online, then you really do have to, you know, build the community there. So yeah, so like, how do we start to build a community and not just get followers? Because that's what a lot of people are just focused on, isn't it? They just want follower numbers.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's more than that. It's that you would rather have 100 engaged followers than
Yeah.
1,000 non-engaged, wouldn't you? But
Yeah, it's that
how do we sort of
conversation we have time and time again with
yeah,
clients when they've got sort of that kind of vanity metric figure in
yeah,
mind for, you know, oh, I want to reach, you know, 10,000 followers or, you know,
yeah.
30,000 or something like that, when actually,
And my first question is always just why?
yeah, exactly. Because there's obviously a kind of correlation with the numbers where it's like, well,
Yeah,
more people, more sales, but
yeah,
actually it's better to have, you know, a handful of really engaged people.
yeah,
And I'm sure you must say this all the time. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's better to have kind of a handful of really engaged people who believe in your brand and who will buy
yeah.
from you time and time again when you have a new launch, as opposed to a lot of people who just kind of scroll on by your content, don't even interact. They followed you maybe based on one post that sort of resonated with them and then never sort of see you again.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing, and I'm going to sound like a broken record by the end of this, but it's all about coming back to those ideal audience sets and your ideal
Oh, love talking
client.
about
Yeah, it's all about coming back to that. One of my favorite things is developing audience personas, and we devise
that.
like
Oh,
really like in-depth audience personas when it comes to building
mm-hmm,
strategy for people. So, you know, it's like looking at, you know, what are they called? What is their job? Like, how do they like
mm-hmm,
spend their time? What kind of content do you think is going to
mm-hmm.
resonate with them?
And sorry, Hannah, audience persona, just another phrase for ideal client,
Yeah,
avatar, that kind of
yeah,
thing. Yep,
pretty much.
okay.
It's just building that picture in your head as to who exactly
Yeah.
is this piece of content speaking to, and it's sort of giving
And you
them
know, yeah.
giving.
Sorry, I love this subject.
Oh yes, we're getting to the
I
good stuff
know.
now.
Yes, ideal client, fantastic.
It's sort
Because so
of.
many people skip this work. This is the work, guys. This is the bit that has
Yeah,
to be done.
yeah. It's
Or the rest of it is going to be really hard, and it doesn't have to be.
it comes from it's, you know, it sort of stems, it goes through everything, goes through absolutely everything that you're doing. You know, we see a lot of agencies who call themselves, you know, a kind of creative agency or sort of like a content agency or things like that, and it's built around like these kind of really practical elements. But we take it a step further, and that's why we call ourselves an audience first marketing agency, because it is all about the audience. That is where we start from. We of
Love
course
that.
look at everything that's come before, all of the content that you've put out there that's resonated if you're sort of a long-standing business and you've been doing this for a while. But it is all about the audience and how you move forward and sort of create
Yeah.
community in that way with them, looking at exactly what their challenges are, what solutions you're providing that will meet their sort of needs, their sort of like their physical, emotional, sort of lifestyle
Yeah.
needs as well. So it's everything. It's everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
And also as part of that, making sure that you're on the platforms where they are. Like, don't just jump on TikTok because that's what everyone's saying you should be. You only need to be where your ideal clients are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few
Make it,
clients who said, you know, oh, well, you know, my niece said I should be on
yeah.
TikTok. And it's like, your niece is not your ideal client, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
your niece is never going
Yeah.
to buy from you. So,
Yeah. And most of the time, the members that join my social media mentor group, most of the time, the first place they need to start is I've got an ebook all about ideal client, and that's generally 9 times out of 10 the first place they have to start, because that's the whole disconnect, is that you're just not sure who you're speaking to, and it gets to become so much easier once you figure that out. Like we promise, guys, we're not making this up. Don't skip this work. And I actually find revisiting ideal client quite a fun exercise as well, like to really get to know this person that you want to work with so that you
Oh
can
yeah,
proper call them in.
definitely, because it's not kind of a one and done. It's kind of an ongoing thing because as the kind of world changes and as sort of lifestyles change and needs change and things like that, your ideal client could change and evolve over
Yep.
time as well. Especially
Yeah.
if your business is going through a period of change as well.
hmm
There's that to consider as well.
Yeah, yeah. If you're the queen of pivoting like me, then yeah, you
Hmm.
have to do it quite often.
Hmm.
But if not, then I guess like I would say maybe every 6 months at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you
Yeah.
think? Yeah,
Yeah,
have a peek at
definitely.
it
Sort of
and
do
make sure
a
it's
bit
up
of
to
a
date.
check-in, yeah, update it
Yeah,
every 6 months kind of thing.
yeah. And then you really, once you get into your flow with your social media or you're working with an agency and you've done the ideal client work, that problem of putting content out there that's just getting no engagement, no shares, no nothing, no conversion, it just should stop because you're speaking to the right person. If you can really get into the conversation in their head, you're going to
Hmm.
be sharing stuff that's relatable, stuff that they want to hear, stuff that they want to see, stuff that they want to book or buy.
Hmm. Yep,
So yeah,
exactly. It's gonna relate and it's gonna resonate, and then
yes,
yeah, it all goes from there.
yes, 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 yes. So let's think. If someone's trying to get into our ideal client's head now, Hannah,
Hmm.
what is our listener thinking at this point? Are they thinking maybe I do need to look at getting some support here? I guess we spoke about what to do first is get a good look at your socials for yourself.
Hmm.
Every social media platform's got an analytics at a dashboard area. They're all pretty similar.
Hmm.
Have a good look at your content. Is absolutely nothing landing well, or is there a few you can highlight and sort of learn from?
Hmm.
Is that where we would say to start before, if you're listening to all this thinking, right, okay, I've not done any of that, so no wonder my content's not landing properly.
Hmm.
Is that the sort of first place to start, is look at what you are posting and look at your ideal client?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say if you've been sort of posting loads of content and maybe like one or two things have been resonating, then I would say you can lean into that and sort of really build a persona based on, what has been resonating and what are the
Mm-hmm.
messages and what are the types of content that people have been enjoying seeing. And then sort of go back and do that kind of work looking at your ideal client, just thinking about your business, your services, because I mean, you don't necessarily just have to have one ideal client. You could have, two or
Mm-hmm.
three ideal clients that you're sort of targeting with different messages.
Yep.
So like bringing it back to kind of the sort of interior design angle, you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
families, you're looking at sort of individuals, people with their first homes are maybe going to be your three sort of ideal clients, and they're all going
Mm-hmm.
to be looking at different types of content because obviously for like a family, you're going to be looking at content that sort of leans into showing that you understand the challenges that are going to come with designing a space for a family and sort of building in like storage solutions as they grow and as
Mm-hmm.
the family changes, of course. And if you're looking
Mm-hmm.
at sort of like first time buyers, for example, you're looking at ways that they can sort of bring their personality alive in the space because it's a really exciting time for them and it's maybe the first
Mm-hmm.
time that they've ever been able to kind of put their stamp on their space because they've
Mm-hmm.
been renting for a long period of time or maybe living with
Mm-hmm.
family. So it's sort of looking at those three sort of sets and maybe devising sort of different types of content that you think will resonate with them. And the types of content that have been resonating, they will likely fit into one of your client personas.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Great. Okay. And then I was thinking earlier on, I actually meant to ask this earlier on, like if you are looking for a social media agency, or what are the sort of biggest misconceptions or myths that you hear out there about social media agencies that you can maybe bust for us today?
I would say that the sort of the kind of biggest one that's been a bit more of a barrier for small businesses in particular is thinking that maybe social media support and social media agencies in particular are only for big businesses and that it's
Mm-hmm.
it's something that's completely unattainable, not kind of in my budget, or I'm not kind of there yet. And there is a wee bit, I think, of imposter syndrome around that as well, because it's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, I'm not big enough to outsource help. But
Yeah.
actually, regardless of the stage of the business that you're at, if there's a barrier in your way, like if you're spending all of your time on social media management and social media content creation and things, you're not getting anywhere, but you're also then having to neglect other areas of your business.
Mm-hmm.
then it is time to sort of look at support that you can bring in, even if it's supporting just
Mm-hmm.
building that initial strategy and things. But I would say the
Mm-hmm.
biggest misconception is probably that it is only for big business. It's definitely not the case anymore. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to even launch Heyday in the first place, is
Mm-hmm.
because I did see that there are a lot of like the kind of big agencies out there that are doing sort of like the big sort of national campaigns and things, and it does look kind of unattainable for smaller business. But I've
Mm-hmm.
worked with so many small businesses, and the impact that it can have on the way that they run their business and the way that they run their lives can be so tremendous that I was like, I just
Mm-hmm.
need to do more of that, please.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
such a lovely feeling when you know that you've had a direct impact on helping someone
Mm-hmm.
either free up time, flexibility, or, just taking something super stressful off their plate.
Yeah. Absolutely. Honestly, we're just such in the same wavelength
Yeah.
here. Just that you're more helping the client actually you do more for them. I guess you're doing for them,
Mhm.
whereas I'm helping them do it themselves.
Mhm.
But there's plenty of business owners in both camps that need that help on either side, isn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, our train of thought is just very, very similar, because it's an amazing feeling when you can really take someone from A to B when they've been really, really struggling, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I showed up on a reel today, like I'm so proud of myself, and and I got 4 inquiries from it. Fantastic. Like, it's an amazing transformation.
Yeah, definitely. It's just that kind of, I've worked in sort of bigger businesses before, and it's very much about me. So it's like it was kind of a thankless job. But when you're actually working with someone one on one and you can, yeah, see
Yeah.
that impact, it's so kind of affirming that you're doing the right thing in your life.
Yeah. Really helping business owners get their dream out there. Like, they've dreamed about this business, and you're
Yeah.
helping them make that dream become a reality. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's rewarding, isn't it? It's
Mhm.
rewarding. So before we sort of just have a bit of fun and wrap up, is
Mhm.
there anything else you'd like to talk to us about that we've not covered?
Um, Gosh, there are so many things that we could chat about. I feel like we could
Yeah.
go on and on and on. Um, But yeah, something that we haven't covered is looking at sort of like green flags and red flags when it comes to
Oh,
client and sort of social media manager relationships. So
love that. Right, go
one
for
of
it.
one of the things that I would say is if you're looking for a social media manager or if you're looking for a marketing agency for support, green flag for me would be that they are super inquisitive about you, super
Oh.
inquisitive about your business, and they have a
Mm-hmm.
period of learning built into whatever it is they're offering you. So they're getting to grips with you, your brand voice, your audience, your
Mm-hmm.
content, the analytics, and everything that's come before. There's been a few times we've had people who think when you work with a social media manager, it's like, oh, well, you sign on with me at the start of the week and then tomorrow you'll be posting content, when actually there is a period of learning that you need to have that's absolutely
Yeah.
fundamental to getting it right for your social media audiences. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say an absolute red flag would be, yeah, I can post for you tomorrow. I'll just bang this out like really quickly. Like,
Yeah.
no, like let's not do that.
Like, how could you possibly?
Yeah,
How could you possibly
yeah,
do that? Yeah.
exactly. So I would say that's sort of like the green flag would be they've got a period
Mm-hmm.
of learning because they are, like I say, representing you and your brand. So it's
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
important to get it right.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Thank you so much. That's a biggie. I'm glad we covered that. Absolutely. Definitely. Okay. A couple of quick fire questions if you're up for it, Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram or TikTok?
Mm-hmm. It's hardly quick fire if I just gasp. Oh, it
Just
changes.
see, you just hit the deck.
I know. It's like, oh no, what happened? Oh, you know what? It
You've
changes.
got to choose one.
It changes day to day, but I would say Instagram today.
Yeah. Instagram today. Yeah. I get it. I get it. What's the biggest cringy thing you've done for your business but it's actually worked?
Oh, do you know what? Like, I very rarely feel cringe,
You're
so
like, this is just a daily
I'm
thing.
like,
Like, it's not even
I
cringe.
don't really feel cringe, but well, the cringiest thing that we've done that's worked was actually that box throwing video. Like, oh, were you waiting for that box to hit me? It was both painful and cringe, but we got messages of sympathy. We got, quite a lot of like views and things from it, and also we got a
Good.
couple of inquiries, which was really nice to see.
Awesome. Will you send us the link to that reel and
Oh
I'll pop it in the
yeah,
show notes so everyone can have a look?
absolutely. Yeah, I don't feel any shame around it. So
I mean, if you're happy to get hit buy a box, a flying
No,
box,
we've got a few.
on camera, social media, you're good to go after that, aren't you? Like,
I have a few
anything
ideas
goes.
saved on how to get Serena back, so watch this space.
And what's something you used to believe about social media that you've totally changed your mind on?
In the last 5 years, I would say that it was quite a lonely place, because we really leaned into kind of, 5 years ago, I would say social media was all about the kind of the aesthetics, and it was kind of like we were seeing the rise of influencers and things like that, and it was all
How
about,
your grid looked.
yeah, how your grid looked.
And the little box
Yeah.
is like a sort of check work, wasn't it?
Yeah, so actually it's less of a belief I used to have, rather than like it's just the platform has changed so much, and it
Yeah.
feels like a much nicer space. It feels like it is built more around community and things like that now.
Yeah.
And sort of, you see amazing communities pop up on Instagram and TikTok in particular all the time. So yeah, I would say
Love
that.
that. Thank you. Thank you for your answers. That was
Okay.
fun. So, where can we find you, Hannah of Heyday? Where are you? Are you everywhere? Where's your main? Have you got a main hub?
No, that would be irresponsible if we were everywhere, and I would not be taking my own advice. So you can always find us on Instagram at Heyday Digital Agency. You can find me on LinkedIn again at Heyday Digital Agency, and we just had a shiny new website developed this year, which we are very, very proud of. So we would definitely encourage you to go and check that out. So it's www.heydaydigitalagency.co.uk.
Love that. And I'll put all the links to those
Yeah.
in the show notes. So just scroll down, guys, and you can find where you can click to go and find Hannah and our team. So yeah, I think we've covered loads there. That's been a fantastic conversation, and how nice to just have a really light, positive conversation about social media. Like, how refreshing is that?
Oh yeah, definitely. It can be so easy to be sucked into the kind of the doom and gloom that we sometimes see, but no, I do think generally it's a very positive space if you curate enough.
Absolutely. And I think the main things I've taken away from that conversation is that it's what you make of it. It's a fantastic, free, very powerful marketing tool for your business. Like, you can be, well, look at me, I'm literally in my spare room right now, and this podcast is listened to all over the world, and I promote it primarily on social media. Like, without that in between, people wouldn't be finding it the same, so it's very, very powerful.
And you can do it from your pajamas as well, which is great.
know,
Not that you're doing that right now.
No, I may have some comfortable bottoms on here.
It's what you've done. Like, we only see you when you're up.
I've basically what I've got on it below the waist here is just a slight upgrade from pajamas.
And that's okay.
Absolutely. And knowing your ideal client, your target audience, who you want to speak to is imperative. Really having to think about things if you're thinking you might need support. But what sort of support you need, whether you're wanting some done for you or some DIY, have a good look at things.
Yeah.
And it can be fun. Like, doesn't have to be this dark, scary place. And we never even touched about algorithms, which is the word everyone's terrified of, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I always try to remind people, like, these platforms want you to stay on them for as long as possible. They want other people to stay on them for as long as possible. The algorithm is there as a matchmaker between you and your ideal client. But, like any computer system, it's just as good as the information you give it. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, just before we wrap up?
I think you've covered that perfectly. I love that phrase. It's a matchmaker between, you and your ideal client. Like, I'm going to use that. I'm definitely going to use that.
It. Absolutely.
When I'm having this conversation, we always, the algorithm.
Like, why would they not want to match you with your ideal client? If they don't do that, their platform will fail. No one will be on it, which is the complete opposite of their business model.
I think it's important to know that it's not out to get you. It's not sort of, this really
like
evil,
the algorithm.
this evil entity that's trying to prevent you from reaching the right people, because ultimately they do want you to stay on as a user. Like, they don't want you to deactivate your account. They want as many users as possible active on their platform. So it's in their best interest.
And the more people that find your content, the more people it brings onto the platform, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
We'll just wrap up on that. Don't be scared of the algorithms. There's actually more than one, but we'll not go into that. I don't want to deeply terrify anyone, but yes, it's a matchmaker.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Hannah. I have honestly truly enjoyed that conversation. It was just
No,
so,
thank you so much
like I
for
say,
having
so
me.
nice
Yeah, it
to
was.
have a positive conversation about social media.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll get all your links in the show notes. Go and find Hannah. Just go and find her anyway, whether you're looking for her support or not, because her account's really fun to follow, as you'll see from this reel that we're sharing about the box incident. And if you've got any questions, I'm sure Hannah would be more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a lovely way to spend a morning.
Pleasure, and also your first podcast.
My first ever podcast. I know. Maybe I've got the bug now. Maybe you'll never hear the end of me now.
Absolutely. Well, I hope so. I hope so, because it's been lovely. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day, Hannah. Take care.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Just a second.